Welcome to our platform, Hajia. It's a privilege to have you on board. Viewers, I'd like to introduce you to Hajia Salamatu Garba. She's a Nigerian, graduated from ABU, that's the Ahmadu Bello University in Zaria. She's the founder of the Women Farmers Advancement Network, which was founded in 1993. And she recently won a worldwide award in Kenya. As a result, it's a privilege to have her here. And introductions done, I will just start with the very first question, which is if Hajia would tell us about herself, her background, her upbringing, where she was born, how she started. Talk us through the path from primary to secondary to university, and then we'll go from there. Thank you, Hajia.
Thank you very much. My name is Salamatu Garba, as I've been introduced. And let me start by saying I was born in Kaduna to the family of Alhaji Garba and Alhaji Fatima. And they're lucky to have the best parents so far. Oh, and my primary school, I said that because if you look at the area we come from and the opportunity I've been given, first, I'm a Muslim from a very strict and well-placed Islamic members, but my father weighed it and chose to take me to a Catholic primary school. But that didn't change my faith. They made sure that I was still practicing, but I learned the morals from the Catholic school that I went. And the setup, the way we were taught, the way we look at the world is completely different. So I see it as being lucky to have come through that background. Another reason I said I feel I have the best of parents, when I finished primary school, my grandfather landed at the house and insisted I had to get married. And I was going to get married to someone who already had 2 wives, so I was going to be the third one. And I was listening to my dad and grandfather peeping through one of our kitchen windows, how my dad was appealing and confirming to him that he would make sure I still adhered to the principles, the morals and everything, but I should be allowed to complete my education because I was doing very well. And my grandfather kept on saying, he will not live another 5 years to see this girl not married. She had to go. Just imagine someone from primary 7. My dad won. Not that the father or his own father was happy, but at least he was able to speak him through. And again, I went to a Catholic secondary school called St. Faith College in Kaduna State again. There were 2 good schools that time. It's either Queen Amina College or St. Faith College. So I was lucky to have gone to St. Faith College and it continued that way. We mingled together. You know, as I am now, I can tell you a lot of verses from the Bible. We were singing hymns together. We were all sisters of one another. So I see it as a privilege because I have both ways to compare. I can easily compare and do an analysis, and I can easily live with anybody and absorb whatever. I'll be able to reflect along that side. So having finished my secondary school, I went to CAST Zaria. Zaria CAST College of Science and Technology then was also a catchy area. It's either you go to ABU to do your A-level or CAST, and we went to CAST. And there too, it was really a good experience for me. I was even the vice president of the class that time, and that was my first experience of leadership, you know, moving these people and just coming from the background of secondary school that was completely different. And now we had our freedom, you know, we were all on our own and we had to lead naughty teenagers and so on. So it was also a pleasant experience for me. From College of Arts and Science, I now went to ABU, where I did both my first and second degree. For my first degree, in BSc in botany, the university absorbed me immediately. I was one of the first batch that the state, you know, if you are an indigene of a state and you do well that time, they were absorbing you, you know, take you up as a graduate assistant. So I was immediately taken up as a graduate assistant in my department. And thereon, I started my master's program. So that was it about education before I now, I taught from 1984 to 1989 in ABU Zaria. I now came to BUK and continued until 1993 when I started with a 1993 I started WOFAN project. So far, that was the story. In between this story I told you of the masters and this, before I now went for my chevening program, was when I stumbled through this woman that made me started what I was doing. It was, this WOFAN is just an accidental thing. I never planned to do it. I did not know about NGO. I was just following my mind and believing in myself that I'm one of the lucky people, not from a rich family per se, but lucky to have everything like education, understanding parents, those that will put you on track. We were always happy. We were contented with whatever we have. So I see it as a lucky thing. And you know, like I started talking in that program, this woman, I was still with ABU then. We went between Ikara and Zaria was where we had the plant. And being a plant pathology, I wanted my students to actually feel how exactly the fungi is on the crop. And we were working on Solanum melongana that time, which is what do you call it? Yellow in Hausa, and in English it's called what? Do you know yellow?
No. What is yellow? It's
garden egg.
Garden egg, okay.
Yes, okay. So we wanted to make that physical observation. And you know, the driver did not come that day. Not wanting to miss that opportunity, I decided to drive my car, a very small Cherry. And I now took 3 of my students together and we now started driving. So that was when I sighted this woman, pregnant, heavily pregnant. Then she didn't stop at being pregnant. She had blood on top of her head. She had a baby, which means that she did not even wean that baby very well before she got pregnant. And then she went to the farm, and coming back, she still had to carry some things which she was going to cook in the house. So I now stopped and started teasing her. In a local way, we call ourselves some certain names. So I just called her by that name and we started laughing. And I told her, why are you punishing yourself? And she told me, no, it's not punishment. That have I forgotten that we were supposed to be subservient to men, and a woman's life is about getting pregnant, giving birth, and being obedient. What they tell you, you do, because your heaven lies under the feet of the man. That's your husband. You know, I told her, yes, it's true, but we can change it. That what if, I started asking her, what if? And we escorted her home. I wanted to see her house. I was not happy with the background I saw there, you know, so I chatted her and told her that, look, anytime I'm passing this village, I'll come and greet you. Make sure you cook very nice food for me. And we parted. So about 3 weeks later, I had a reason to pass that place. And I went through the community and they told me that this woman died at childbirth.
Oh dear.
Very, very touching, very pathetic. You know, I felt as if something was missing in my hands. Do you know that feeling when they steal your phone?
Yes.
That was the feeling I felt, because the first time I lost my phone, how I felt, I recalled the feeling of that woman I felt that time. So it was like if I've lost something, because I thought we could share. I thought I could sit down and sing some of those songs I learned in secondary school and all of those things. I would just be hanging around the woman. It never happened, and I forgot about it. And I transferred to Kano due to marital issue, husband moving here, not moving there. And I had to follow and move to Bayero University, and I continued lecturing. Once upon a time, one day, 1996, British Council sent a letter to our department and now said they wanted these literate northern women, we should meet together. We wanted to discuss issues that affected our community. I still have the picture right now in my office. It's because I'm not here. I would have picked to flash it at you. The British Council director, then a female, she put all of us together from northern Nigeria. And all of us, everybody has become somebody in terms of development. At least I can remember up to 8 of them. One is even a serving commissioner now in her state. So they put us together and told us reminded us about the backwardness of the North, which is true. And how we can change, change can begin with us. I remember that word. Change can begin with us, that we should all go back home and reflect on what we want to give back to our communities. But we just quickly did a brief introduction. Some wanted to do educational programs, some are health people. We even had lawyers among us. Some of them were talking of, we all talked. I told the story of that woman. I said, that woman's issue is disturbing me, but I don't know where to pick it from. So in our next meeting, when we came back, when they said we should pour down everything we wanted to do, I put it down. And they started telling us about goal, objective. That's British Council for you. We didn't know we were setting up already a proposal and coming out with outcome and what have you. Then we were just putting down ideas. We did that, and we had about 3-4 trainings, and they told us to continue to look at it, how the intervention will be. Not to take you too long, at the end of the day, we came to the extent that they taught us how to put a proposal together, report writing, what have you. So we started looking for name. It started first as Women Farmers Association of Nigeria, but it has metamorphosed now to Women Farmers Advancement Network. And just 2 years ago, it has been scaled up to a foundation, which has been registered, and we now have a corporate affairs identity for that. So that can allow me to even work across African regions. So,
wow,
so
that's
this was how it started, and Chevnin came in. And I told this story, and I wanted to handle the gender aspect, and that was why I was chosen. And I went to do the gender and development. Thank you, British Council, because they set the background. I got the template that I'm building on from this initiative of ours. Thank you.
very brilliant, very interesting. Thank you, Hajia. I'm enjoying the story. The reason I cut in is because, you see, in our conversations, we listen to what you've said, then we take you back. You said to us, you are blessed with great parents. You are blessed with understanding parents. Were it not for your parents or for your dad, maybe your path would have been different. Please tell us a bit about your dad. Tell us a bit about your mom, because they seem to have made an impact on you, and we want young girls coming up in the northern part of Nigeria to appreciate what your parents did for you and to value those kind of things. Please tell us a bit about your parents.
You know, my dad was strict. Both of them are late, of blessed memory. He was strict, but in an understanding way that a child will know. He will caution you and tell you why he is asking you to do that. Then a good disciplinarian of time management, which was another plus for me. We normally wake up around 4 to say our prayers because my dad will also wake by 4. All of us will say our own prayers. And he will remain in the mosque till in the morning, continue praying because we had one in the house. But we also, rather than go back to sleep like other children, our dad will now tell us to start our domestic activities so as to be ready for school by 7. I hated that thing, to be honest with you. If I was to rate my dad that time, I was not going to give him anything bigger than a C. C would be the most generous because I didn't like it. But it just became a way of life, to the extent that if I wanted to greet him in the morning, you know the way we squat to greet our parents, I was always hiding at the back of a pillar in the sitting room. There's a big pillar there. So when our eyes are not looking at one another, I will refuse to squat because I'm annoyed and to sleep. Unless if it's looking at me that I will do that. So time management, I learned, and is one score I have up till today. Because even in secondary school, that gave me an advantage over them. He also taught us to value ourselves. He told us to know when to say no, when it is right, and you have to reflect, you know. So all of those things were a driving force of what I see reflecting in my life today, and I also make it clear to the ones after me. We try to say it as it is, because I remember in those days, if anything happens within us, my dad will say, wait until Salamatu comes back. So which means that he believes my own version. And I've decided to continue to take life in that direction, to make sure it is the way it is, or don't talk about it. That's all. So that is it. My mom was not literate. Probably that's why he wanted us, me in particular. We are 6, 5 females and 1 male. My brother also died in the UK because he moved to UK since in the 80s, and unfortunately life ended like that. So my mom did not go to school at all, but she became quite literate, a very good businesswoman, I'm telling you, because then she was putting things together. She will calculate. She was buying and selling most things. She didn't sit there like the other women would sit, not doing anything. No, she was doing trading. She was selling food stuff and other things, and we were helping her to put things together. And I remember that part of the record keeping I'm doing now was from her, because she would tell me, Salamatu, write this one for me. This one is this. I'll put it down. This one is this. I hope you understand. So in her own way, she designed that. And it's another thing that I learned. Record keeping is very, very important in my life and in my work. And that is what is even making most of our partners feel very comfortable, because you record appropriately, you report, you spend it as it is giving us an upper hand in the way we carry out our activities. So there it is. My dad did not do more than primary school, but he was also successful in his own way. And he took life, like I told you. That was why he had to take his children to separate schools. He had to do this. He has to show us this and that and that. And I continue to say I owe them a lot of things, for I look at the world differently because of them.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And then going through school, after school, you get, was it a scholarship to study in the United Kingdom, in the Wolverhampton University, I believe. What was the culture clash like, coming to the UK and seeing a very completely different set of values, different life. How did that impact on you, and how is it impacting on you now?
Now, because I already had a way of life before coming there.
Yeah.
So I was not changed too much, but it also gave a spice to the way of life. I was able to socialize more when I was in the UK. And then we had people from different African countries with us, from the Europe, everywhere in the world you find people. And it wasn't difficult for us because we would either meet at the sports place or the dining or the restaurant, or they will give us group work together. In most cases, they will not put Nigerians together in one place. So it made it very easy. Before 1 month, we had already blended with them. But apparently, there were only about 3 of us then that were doing this veil. That veil never came out of my head up to them, but I socialized the way I would do, and I didn't miss my prayers. I was always praying, but life, it was more bubbling than you will have here. That's one thing. Another interesting thing and shock to me was the first time I wanted to photocopy something from a book. I was looking for someone to photocopy. I realized you have to do everything for yourself. That was where I learned how to do my typing. Because if I had anything to do, it's just to take it to the business center before I had computer.
Yes.
So, and you will call the secretary or somebody to do the work. There, you have to photocopy. The library has everything. You just make your photocopy and so on. That changed it also. And do you know, till today, there's a secretary, there's a personnel officer, there's this, there's that. But I also wouldn't need to call someone to scan. Something as little as that, I now realize I can do it myself. While the other person has another role. I came back with that. So when I was coming back to Nigeria, I remember BBC interviewed me and they told me that, what are you taking back home? I told them, look, I came to the United Kingdom with my sieve. I told them, I told myself when I was coming that when I come here, I'll put everything in my sieve and now shake and bring whatever I think will be useful in Nigeria, and I will leave the remaining back in the UK. And they all laughed. So they asked me, what will I be leaving back? I told them, yes, some of the naughty things and so on. And what I will take home is my goal and how I want to change the narrative. I was determined to come and apply the gender principles I learned there. And I knew I had a wrong approach before I went to the UK. Yes, I started it before going. Yes, British Council taught me setting the goal and so on. But I think I was using a wrong method before going to the UK. We were working with only women. We blocked the way for men because it's like we vex.
I can imagine. Yes, absolutely.
And it was not working. Because I remember in the IFAD project in Katsina then, we started giving women to 2,000 through their support, that the women will do some certain things. But because we didn't involve the men collected the money from the women. Some bought bicycles. So it was failing. They were not identifying with us. On going to the UK, I now realized that gender is not all about women, that I should have started by changing the men, making the men to rethink the system, making the men to look at it that, look, what I'm doing is wrong. And I continue to remember my icebreaker when I'm doing training. I always tell the men that they should tell me all the things they wish for their mothers. That's what I say to them.
Yes, it's true.
Then when I now come back and say, give me a wish for your wives, then you see the men now start melting down. The wishes will now start, they start editing the wishes. which is not the same like the mother. And then I'll now go to the next step of my training. What is the difference between your mother and your wife? Do you realize that your wife is also a mother to your son? So your son will also wish what you wish to your mother, and it starts that way. I learned that a lot. Do you know another thing I will never forget, that I applied one of the principles I learned when I was in Wolverhampton? It happened here in Kano. At that time, I think it was around 2002 or so. In one of the communities where we had, after doing agriculture, we now started asking these women to be going to hospital and so on and so forth. Not to make the story too long, this woman pregnant now started going for antenatal. She now came back home from and the husband, we were lucky, he agreed, because as of that time, a lot of people will tell him their wives will not go to the hospital. You know, their mothers didn't go to hospital. Why would she go? But this one, they allowed because we were working. But this woman was so excited because she was tested by a youth corper, and this youth corper did a comprehensive analysis. He used the testers and everything, which was unlike the health assistants they had in the community. So this woman, being excited, she now told the woman that, look, they brought one young man. He even listened to the heartbeat of the baby. He was so this, he advised me and so on. You will not believe how the story turned around. The husband became extremely jealous, annoyed that she allowed the man to touch her and so on, to the extent of telling him, and he divorced her. Luckily for me, I had trained my women that time and gave them recorders, that if there's anything, they should do a recording, or if they have questions, they should bring. Ofan will act immediately. That time phone was not very common. They now brought a cassette saying that why this woman has been divorced by her husband because she went to the The next day, I put my team together. I didn't stop anywhere. I went to the traditional leaders' house and called for a small meeting. And you know, I used my but why. I applied my but why principle there.
Yes.
I told them, I heard that this lady has left, so happened. So we followed up to appeal, but why did this happen? And they said, but why did she allow a man to touch her? But okay, why didn't we have a male doctor? They now started, because we don't have enough educated women. Why don't we have educated women? Because our girls don't go to school beyond primary school. That's if they go at all. But why? At the end of the day, we now realize that we are the ones that are injuring ourselves by not educating our girls. If we have educated them, she would have had a female gynecologist in that place. So that was how we ended this. So that's another place where I applied some of the things I learned during my stay in the university.
Impressive, very impressive. We have to talk about WUFAN now. According to your website, WUFAN was formed as a response to the plight of rural women in northern Nigeria. Women that are voiceless, poor, and absolutely dependent on poor resources. You founded WUFAN based on the fact that you have an open heart, and you were, just like you said before in the last statement you made, trying to educate the female in northern Nigeria. If we have more of our women educated, the woman is the source of life. The woman is, to us, the mother of nature. If we have more women educated, I believe that the situation we find ourselves, especially in northern Nigeria, would be quite different. So in that vein, tell us what sparked you to think of women empowerment, because in this present climate that we find ourselves in Nigeria, it is important for our women to be developed. Gone is the ages of where the woman is meant to be subservient. I believe that was just out of ignorance. because no one is born better than another. So, how did your journey start towards women empowerment, founding WUFAN, and then taking it to the stage that you now find it, which has gone international?
Well, I've told you the background story.
You have.
The story of that woman is the logo of WUFAN. If you Google the logo of WUFAN, you're going to see this pregnant woman. So she's a reminder. And anybody who is a member of WUFAN knows the story of that logo. She's a symbol for us. And that is a picture of what is happening, to be honest. And we didn't have money to give them. Empowerment is not about sharing money. I've argued that with government. When they come and they start sharing 10,000, I've told them, I said, our problem is not 10,000. If you have not trained us to appreciate this 10,000 and how to make this 10,000 40,000 and 40,000 100,000, then it's not called empowerment. So that is how we looked at this beyond Naira and Kobo and beyond bread and butter. But it's all about doing it yourself. But the major principle of how WUFAN works is identify your problem and be sincere about it. Then you reflect on that problem honestly, and then you try to prefer a genuine and sustainable solution towards that. We work around that principle, and that is what gives the empowerment. The success story of WUFAN, like I've put there, we started as 28 of us by 1993, nothing. And to tell you, I didn't know you can even apply for money. We were just doing that just like a sacrifice, just like what you do in the religious society. You go out to give a talk and so on. That was how it started. But we now knew that if we trained them, it was going to change their life. And at the beginning of WUFAN, acceptance was a big issue. At that time, people didn't even believe NGOs. Even within the agricultural sector, it was difficult to blend because they were seeing it as a competition, not a handshake to add value to what they were doing to the people. They saw it as a rivalry kind of thing. But gradually, they started to see the impact, and then persistence. If people were to give up, I would have given up long ago. And it's one of those things I told you I learned from my parents. Just believe in your value. And when it became difficult for me to balance between the university and doing this work, I asked myself, where is my heartbeat facing? I asked myself, heartbeat, where are you looking at? And the heartbeat kept on reflecting on this woman. And I gave a leave of absence that any day I could come back to the university. And I still am part of them. You know, we do a lot of activities together. Without anything, during that strike of 6 months, I think that was during Abacha or somebody like, we didn't have salary, nothing for 6 months. We had strike, academic people that time. Yeah. But I left and sat down and said, I will do this. I will drive my car to the community. I will do whatever, gradually. So training that we were given, we started now stepping down. I started getting support to do things I have ordinarily done just out of pleasure. So it made me to want to do more. I see it as any partner who comes to WUFAN is adding value to just what I have dreamed of doing. So yes. I welcome it, I appreciate it, and I use it maximally to see that it reaches people. Just like when I came back, the first interview, immediately I landed. I was just welcomed because the story had gone up. I was welcomed with an interview. So what are you going to do? I said, look, this award I got, I'm dedicating it 100 female-headed households, and I mean it. 100 of them that are struggling to make a living. I'm going to support them by the grace of God to start trading something. You see all those women frying corn, without a shade on top of their head.
Yes.
Even if this MTN umbrella, I brand Wire 2021 and now give to them, it's just showing an appreciation and making them to understand. And I'll marry it with financial business management to them and see whatever we can do. But you just must know that you need to wake up. Don't just lie down there and be waiting for people to give you bread. You must learn how to make bread from corn. You must know how to make fish from using your feed, transforming it to fish feed and giving it out. So that is it. So empowerment is making people to be conscious. Did you see Wofan women? These are laborers, Mr. Irebo.
Yes,
These were farm laborers. If you take my rice value chain, Taurarua is now a household name.
Oh,
but instead of putting a gigantic machine that will do 200 tons for me per day, which we are able to do now, I put the human machinery. There are 30,000 parboilers right now. And what we did was we gave them parboiling pot fabricated by their sons. We trained the sons. JICA was the first, that is the JICA, JICA project, right?
Yeah.
They are the ones, Japan development, something. They were the ones that brought the concept. Yes. We saw the shortcoming of those pots. We improved on them, on the steaming capacity. With support of Kari GIZ for that parboiling pot, we have fabricated and given to these women. So they parboil this rice. We gave some the milling machines. I have about 112 women centers where they wake up, they go like it's their office. At any time till you go there, you find women. This one is bringing down her own, that one is loading it. And I feel so happy.
Yes.
So this rice is in the market. Some are cooking it, but I took these are the women that were removing weed from the farm or were working in the mills that after they remove it, you see the rice that poured on the floor. These women will now carry it, go home, cook it, wash it with calabash and bring out a bit of the stone and cook for their children. Today, these women are selling rice. Today, people are buying credits from them and paying at the end of the month. What other way can God bless someone? If you look back and you see people doing that, what other way can you explain empowerment? Another example is these women that will be denied fertilizer. We will hear figures on radio that so much tons of fertilizer has been given to women, which is not so. Today, we have empowered the women. Right now, we have prepared our fertilizer for the dry season. It's ready. And the men will now come. These women that were putting their hand and collecting fertilizer now, the men are queuing up, including their husbands, because they must mark you well. So the men must behave at home before they come for collection of their own fertilizer.
Definitely, they have to. You're absolutely right there. Hajia, this is fantastic. More and more women are being empowered. A product has come out of your work. You've been, you've received so many achievement awards. Truly making Nigeria proud. Truly making Nigeria a special place. Now, the new Nigerian, part of what we do, or the main thing we do, is to bridge the gap between diaspora and Nigeria. In essence, we take the best of Nigerians in diaspora, link them up with the best of Nigerians in Nigeria, in various fields, get them together to commit to a project or to start a project for the empowerment of not only the youth, not only the women, but for the empowerment of our country, which is a blessed and great nation. If you look deep into the new Nigerian website, you will find initiatives in the field of agriculture, in the field of health, in the field of housing, in the field of education. Now, we were able to have a conversation with an initiative working out of Canada. It is called IBWU, which means I believe in you, or sorry, it begins with you. So when you said something about believing and beginning with you, I was rather very impressed. Now, this initiative is they've just recently started a test program in Edo State, a test program in Ekiti State, where they get a massive bit of land and they contribute to giving an acre each to an indigene of that locale to farm. They give them the crops, which are high yield crops. And when the crops are germinated and they've grown and are ready for harvest, they buy the crops off the people who they have empowered, and then they see about exporting it internationally. Now, they are a very small organization, but they also believe that it is important for us in diaspora to return and give back to Nigeria, because without Nigeria, we won't be where we are. So as soon as you started talking about women empowerment, believing in someone, I just thought about them and I said, Hajia, I might introduce these people to you to see if you can give them support based on the fact that you already have collaborations with UNICEF, with USAID, various NGOs, donations and foundations from the international community, which is a plus. Now, we also have on the platform interviewed female farmers, ladies who have developed their own vegetable farms. So when you have time, when you go through the platform, you'll probably come across someone called Mrs. Aderemi Banjo. She has a vegetable farm following the initiative style that you have already expanded. I would love to introduce her to you. She is very hardworking. I believe she can make an impact in your organization as well. This will be a fulfillment of what we are about, bridging the gap, introducing our people who are doing the same things and getting them together to expand. Now, please tell us a bit about your awards, your various awards, which are numerous, and then expand on the one you recently got in Kenya, so that our audience, not only at home but in diaspora, know what you are about, and let us see how they themselves can either collaborate or contribute towards WUFAN.
Well, thank you very much. I'll just quickly talk about the aspect of buying back from the farmers we talked about. That's a model that WUFAN has, and UNDP is currently replicating that model in 7 states of Nigeria. WUFAN did that, and because in the last 12 years, we had 0 defaults. So they were saying, oh, with all these farmers not paying, let us replicate the model of WUFAN. And what we do, like you said, is our input and everything is ready. The farmers own their farms and they grow their crops. We take it from beginning to the end, like I told you. Yes. So at harvest, we buy off them. WUFAN is an off-taker of these things. So, and that is where we registered our enterprise aspect. We have our certificate that permits that enterprise. Otherwise, we'll not be able to complete the value chain that we're doing. Yes. So now, when we offtake the products from the men and the women who farm, that is the beginning of material for those who now process. So when they once processing now collect, if you take rice, they parboil like I told you, we now give them milling machines, we give them the stoners, in all the centers you will find them. So they do that, but it cannot be branded that way until it comes to the main WUFAN Enterprise Milling Center. where we have everything, including the color sorters, the water, it still goes through standardization before we can brand it. And that is why anyone who buys that rice is always coming back. And you see dealers and so on coming in trucks and so on, because it goes through this dedication of perfecting it to standard. But like I told you, rather than machine, it's human beings that are forming all of that, which is empowering people all along. So that your initiative is welcome, is very nice, and is a true way of empowering people, because everyone benefits. And at the point of production, if you want to maximize profit, you don't stop there. You have to add value. And that is where those of you in the diaspora are sending chocolate back to us when you come and pack our cocoa. So, but you should learn, train the people to add that. And this vegetable lady, I'll be very happy to talk to her, because I just came from the vegetable market and I even spoke to the youths there that, why are you not sun drying? I said they should come for training. So we give them solar. You have simple solar dryers that already we have youths that we have trained that can fabricate. So they dry these things and they package and seal. We don't need anybody from US to send us dry ugu. For God's sake, we should dry our ugu from here and send to them. So we'll share all those training, even how you can do them in 1 acre of land. I have a place now that we're growing almost everything, including yam, potato, what have you, all in 1 acre. Because you can use many things like old tire, bags, what have you, and you maximize. So having said that, I will now go to the next issue that you asked me about awards.
Yes.
Awards, please. I don't even know where to start with. From the community level to mentees, to all of them, I've received so many. The first one that struck me was the first distinguished female empowerment champion by UK Commonwealth Business Council in the UK or something. I can't remember their exact name. They gave me an award just like 3-4 years after coming back from Wolverhampton, because immediately I went into mobilization. But honestly, if you go around my office, there are so many of them. So my staff decided to put a carton that when they display this for like 3-4 months, they bring them down and hang another one. Otherwise, it will be a little bit bushy.
They have to make a room for the plaques of the award.
The 4 walls were
loaded.
Including the yes, they now arrange them in such a way, you know, and it's always dedicated to them. I didn't do it alone. I'm just coordinating what is happening, and currently I'm working with 28 full-time staff and about 102 volunteers that are at community level, and they are just at the backbone of everything. I coordinate and give direction. I just tell them and give them free hand. You see, when you allow your staff to use his brain, and when they are about to fall, and you let them know that it's not about falling, but what you do with yourself after falling down is what matters. So I bring them back to life and encourage them. So it's like a booster for them. And they too, I see how some have walked through WOFAN to development workers. I've seen development workers that have negotiated my staff to come and work with them, you know? So yes. Because they've learned all of this. Some of them are just day-to-day things that they learn about. But to mention a few, I received the Rare Gem Award of United Nations for Sustainable Development Goal. And that one was because of the 4-year program I did with USAID. USAID made me the lead consultant for Nigeria Water Project. I was supposed to target, like, let me give you an example. I can't remember the exact number. Let's say 12 LGAs, for instance. And you end up now doing 16 to 17 LGAs.
Wow.
Do you understand?
Yes.
So every year in the 4 years, I received commendation with the USAID director, and I have it saved because each time I'm even writing a proposal, I attach it because this is an annual commendation for exceeding target, And then what is it is that these people see results and they mobilize themselves around the project. And I see that it's doable. I can expand to their areas. So I was supposed to give 33,000 people, households, water. We didn't stop at 33. It kept on going. And after the project, instead of winding up, we started another project on a cowpea production and some other activities. Water project has finished. But we were using, when we are going for cowpea, we will still branch and look at water. Not saying that because USAID has stopped giving us money. 80% of those boreholes of 2009, which they did with Coca-Cola Foundation, are still functioning till now that I'm talking to you. So they keep saying, this thing is rare to see that water projects, sometimes after 3 months, you go to the community, they tell you no more water. But this one is sustaining itself because we trained artisans from there, we showed them where to buy these things. So now this award now came to make it a Rare Gem Award. I'm so happy about that. I've received also the Leadership Initiative Award Program. I've also received which other ones? I'm beginning to even forget. So many. And in 2 weeks, in 10 days time, I'll be receiving the Ambassador for Peace Award of the United Nations, something on peace in partnership with UNESCO. Wow. And there, I think what I will do as that champion is to bring my farmers together to see how at any level to reduce the friction we are having on the farm. How do we better support ourselves? I've already done a template with my farmers. I told them, I asked all of them, I said, and that's where to round up now. I said, if they give you a plate of rice in your front, what is the next thing you look out for? Everybody said is meat or chicken. I'm sure even you listening to me, when they give you rice, you start looking at which type of meat they on top. So I now said, if you will eat your rice and be happier if it is married with meat, why would you as a farmer not live together with a livestock herdsman? Why would you not? And they said, how can you go Hajia? I said, to Abun Nazarini. That is, go back and reflect on it. Since a natural thing is a normal thing, rice and chicken or rice and meat must follow. Food and protein must follow. If that is the case in our homes, then what is wrong with us? What are we talking about? We just need to go back and amend issues. Thank you.
Hajia, you are absolutely right. Harmony in living together is what should be our target. Harmony not only at home, harmony in diaspora, harmony between diaspora and home, harmony in taking care and educating our children, developing the youths, job creation like you are doing, empowering the people will always achieve positive results. It's almost an hour. Please, your audience are not only the audience in Nigeria, you will have the audience in diaspora. Any wise words, anything you want to talk to diaspora right now, please feel free. Let the Nigerian in diaspora know that we have someone like you and give us advice. Tell us how we can help in what you are doing, how we can contribute our own quota, even from diaspora all over the world, the UK, America, Europe. Please tell us.
Well, I am very happy to have this opportunity to say this, but I think persistence and determination is very, very important. And I'm sure everybody had a dream in the past. Whether the environment was enabling enough for you to develop that dream, you should believe in your dream and do it the way it is. And of course, you expect distraction, because if I tell you distractions I got, but being persistent, that thing I learned from childhood, I didn't give up. And that is how it is. Being in the diaspora, one reason or the other must have made us to leave our dear country, and we are in another country flourishing well. We're happy about that. And one good objective that you people have is that you want to bring back home, you want to support people. First is that everybody should think of his or her own area that you want to develop. We all have a common goal. So we now break them into smaller molecules, and everybody will take one back to their community. It's all about empowerment. What is it that we don't have in our various communities? Is it school? Is it water? We have to prioritize. We have to start little. Then we know that if you put 1 naira down, if you are thinking of a program and you do your analysis and you know that that 1,000 can never become 10,000, honestly, forget it. You must sit and make sure it's a productive thing. If it is something that people will just rush over, eat it once, one blow, 7 die and go, it's not doable. Then, like you said, we should love one another. We should not believe in these politicians that are trying to tear us apart. If we put heads together, let me tell you, when we were children, on Christmas Day, do you know we arrange our containers because the type of rice that will come, we even know the one that has come from Mama Joseph's house, Mama D's house, and we taste all of them. The same thing during Salah. We used to be each other's brothers and sisters. I told you I went to a Catholic school. I could sing most of the songs. If they are doing wedding and they are singing, I know most of them. We loved one another. We didn't know this was Christian, this was a Muslim. What is wrong with us now? Why are we not using our head? Why do we agree somebody from nowhere will just come and give us an analysis and turn our heads round? Now, as you are in diaspora, if they say everybody run back to your father's house, where are we all going to? We are all coming to Nigeria. And all of us will meet in the same airport. We are brothers and sisters. Then why are we listening to these people that they will go and dine together in the 2 p.m. Meeting, and in the daytime they will tell us to blow each other? Please, let peace reign. Let us understand it. Lastly, when our generation were growing up, and you and other people, you know that those things that mattered a lot have been lost now. Look at the value of education. When we were in school, you will just go with 20 naira and you will eat. You know the tickets then, you can't finish the food. They were washing and ironing for us in the hostel if you are in level 3. And now you can't even go to school, no seats. Please, those of you in the diaspora, join us in seeing that we change the narrative of our country. Let them stop flagging Africa with the face of a poor woman. Why? When you want to talk of Africa, hungry people, malnourished children, you will see that the picture of African woman with baby, with skeleton. Why is our story not changing? A young youth from the community holding drone, a young youth using computer to calculate the fertilizer they need on their farm. That's what we need. Bring technology, bring ICT. Let us use it to reshape our life. Let peace reign. Thank you very much.
Audience, there you are. You've heard it all. It's a privilege to have Hajia Salamatu Garba on our platform. Words of value, words of wisdom have been shared. One sitting is not enough. We pray that we have an opportunity somewhere down the line to have her as a guest again. It's 1 hour. Hajia is a very busy woman. She has other people to attend to. We are most grateful for her time. And you heard what she said. Love, not hate. Peace, not anger. Let us all come together. Let us remember where we're from. Let us all harmonize. And let us all be one nation, one Nigeria. Let's develop education, health, agriculture, feed ourselves. Let us change the narrative. Thank you so much, audience. Thank you, Hajia.
Thank you.
What normally happens now is I will let the audience go, then I will spend about 2 or 3 minutes with you before I let you go, okay?
All right. Thank you. Thank you,
thank you, audience.
Bye.
Bye
Thank
for
you.
now, audience. Fantastic.